I'm Vidhi Joshi. The Supreme Court today declined to stay the Special Intensive Revision SIR process of electoral rolls in Bihar being carried out by the Election Commission of India, stating that the Commission still has enough time to file its affidavit. A bench of Justices Sanjay Karol and Sudhanshu Dhulia noted that the process should be allowed to continue and schedule the next hearing for July 28, instructing that all arguments be concluded by then. The court emphasized that while it would not interfere with the SIR process itself, it questioning the timing of the exercise, which comes just months ahead of the assembly elections in Bihar. Justice Dhulia, during the hearing, pointedly remarked that the court does not take issue with the process of revising electoral rolls, but rather with the logic behind connecting it so closely to the upcoming elections. He asked why the special intensive revision could not be conducted independently of the election schedule, suggesting that a person who is disenfranchised due to this process would not have any legal recourses once the rolls are finalized before the election. The court underscored the critical nature of the issue, stating that it affects the very root of democracy and the fundamental right to vote. It questioned the Election Commission not just on the powers it exercises, but more importantly on the process and timing it has adopted. Despite refusing to halt the SIR, the Supreme Court showed concern over the exclusion of documents such as Aadhaar, voter ID and ration cards from the list of valid proofs to establish citizenship in the revision process. Justice Dhulia advised the Election Commission to take a serious look at documents proposed by the petitioners and asked it to rectify the incompleteness of the current document list. He emphasized that Aadhaar is already referenced in law and voter ID cards are officially documents issued by Commissioner itself. Senior Advocate Abhishek Manu, representing the petitioners, strongly argued that Aadhaar, which has nearly 87% national coverage, should be accepted as a valid identity proof during the SIR. He also pushed for the acceptance of voter ID and ration cards. Justice Dhulia appeared to support these submissions and reiterated that such documents must be considered to ensure fairness in the entire process. The court also interrogated the broader implications of the revision, particularly in light of contentious exclusion of Aadhaar. Advocate Singhvi criticized the decision, calling the exercise a citizenship screening drive. He expressed bewilderment over the EC's refusal to accept Aadhaar despite its widespread use across the nation. Senior Advocate Kapil Sibal joined the argument, stating that it was not for the Election Commission to decide who qualifies as a citizen. He asserted that the burden of proof lay with the EC and not with the individual voter, and stressed that unless the Commission had concrete evidence to question a person's citizenship, they had no authority to exclude them. In response, the Counsel for the Election Commission clarified that Aadhaar was not being used because it does not constitute proof of citizenship. The court, however, observed that this was a separate matter that fell under the purview of the Ministry of Home Affairs and not the EC. The EC's counsel further argued that the process should be completed without interference and assured that the revised voter list would be presented before finalization. The entire controversy was sparked by the EC's decision last month to launch a revision of the electoral rolls in Bihar, citing the need to address potential duplicate entries accumulated over the last 2 decades. The EC claimed that this was the first time such an exercise was being undertaken after computerization, and that the timing was based on logistical considerations. Nonetheless, the move has faced intense criticism from opposition parties, including the Congress and the Rashtriya Janata Dal, who alleged that it is arbitrary and discriminatory. Advocate Sankar Narayanan, appearing for the petitioners, argued that EC standards were inconsistent, pointing out that those who had been voting since before 2003 were being presumed citizens, whereas those voting after 2003 were suddenly being required to prove their citizenship afresh. He called this an unjust and illogical standard that undermined long-standing voter legitimacy. Despite all these concerns, the court acknowledged the constitutional mandate of the Election Commission to maintain clean and accurate electoral rolls, including the removal of non-citizens. The justices said there was a practical and logical basis for the current exercise, but maintained that scrutiny of the process and its implications was both valid and necessary. That's all for now. Stay tuned to the Savera for more updates. Do like, comment and subscribe to the channel.